This is Kim Paddock with Miracle Products. I would like to go over the entire cancer and chemotherapy hoax today, and the fact that raising your frequency to above that of your pain and disease will heal it. And if you can keep it high enough, you'll never get sick with these problems again. So, as you can see by my opening screen, the meaning of pharmakia is pretty clear. It's the use of sorcery, witchcraft, and drugs to maim and kill people. They put it right in front of our face, and we still don't see it. Anyway, we'll go into doctors. Doctors know that they won't heal or prevent your cancer. They're taught allopathic medicine only, and no naturopathic medicine which can prevent and heal cancer. Allopathic medicine is the practice of cutting and sewing and is really only good for dentistry or emergency rooms. Naturopathic medicine is the use of natural substances, herbs, and vitamins to prevent and heal diseases and pain. I've been involved in naturopathic medicine since about 1977, and in 2016 I began to use extracts of the hemp cannabis plant to see what I could do, and one extract seemed to heal cancer, tendinitis, carpal tunnel syndrome, arthritis, pain and swelling. And it took me a while to figure out that what I had extracted at the time was the pure frequency of the plant and nothing more. There's nothing else in it, but it healed all of these problems. Back to cancer treatments. What causes cancer? Cancer, as you can see, is caused when your body reaches one of the lowest frequencies before death. I'll scroll down here and show you the chart. It's on my website. There it is, the chart in the middle there. So the human brain should be operating at 72 to 90 megahertz. The human body should be operating at 62 to 68 megahertz to stay healthy. Cold symptoms set in at 58 megahertz, flu symptoms at 57, candida at 55, Epstein-Barr at 52, and cancers at the lowest frequency before death, which is 42 megahertz thereabouts. So that's a good indication of where we're at with cancer. It takes a little while for me to be able to raise the frequency of cancer to heal it. By raising your body's frequency to above that of cancer, you can heal yourself. Since cancer occurs at a very low frequency, it takes more time to bring it to the frequency to the point to destroy the cancer cells. I have notes here, so I can try to stay on track here. All Miracle skincare products contain the pure frequency of the hemp plant. When used on your skin, Miracle skincare products will raise your body's frequency over time to the point of healing cancers inside or outside of your body. My own skin cancer was healed in 5 weeks. Has Miracle products healed terminal cancer? Yes, but only in 1 of 4 cases. Because by the time people come to me as a last resort, it really is too late in the most part. If they're bedridden, if they're on serious pain medications, if they can't get out of bed and function in any state, way, or form, there's probably nothing I can do about it or anybody else at that point. Unfortunately, if your frequency gets too low, nothing I have will help, and a med bed won't help either, from what I understand. Now we'll get to the story of my friend Pat, who's the one person out of 4 that I was able to help heal her terminal cancer. I met Pat in the summer of 2019, and when I got to her house, she was in pretty bad shape. She was in a lot of pain. She couldn't move her neck or her head. She couldn't raise her arms, and she was pasty white and pale. I gave her some Miracle Tincture Gel to rub on her neck and her arm. And by the way, her neck was where the terminal cancer was. She had a terminal cancer in there that was wrapped around her blood vessels and her tendons, and it was slowly strangling her to death, and her doctor couldn't do anything about it, so he sent her home to die. And so she put the gel on her arm and her neck, and we spoke for a few minutes, and then I asked her how she felt, and she says, I'm able to move my head now. And she was able to move it side to side, up and down, and then she raised her arm. She says, I haven't been able to raise my arm for a long time. So it was that fast. And Pat began to use Miracle Tincture Gel on her cancer in her neck at least 8 times a day. She really wanted to get well. The more product you use on cancer especially, the faster you can raise your frequency and the better your chance of getting well. Anyway, Pat's cancer began to shrink, and her doctor asked what she was doing to heal her cancer. She told him, and he said to keep doing it. This proves, of course, that doctors know that nothing they do will actually heal terminal cancer. Pat had refused chemo, which gave her a much better chance of getting well along with it. So let's get into a few facts about chemo. We are told that radiation is dangerous, and yet we are also told that radiation through chemo is somehow good for us in fighting cancer. Chemotherapy was invented in the late 1940s, by the way, and it was only able to heal one rare type of cancer. So on with the hoax we go. We are told that somehow this form of radiation can select which cells it can kill, which is ridiculous if you really think about it. Radiation kills all cells, good or bad. Some 95% of chemo patients die within the first 5 years after this barbaric treatment. And some of these patients never had cancer in the first place. How can this be, you ask? Follow the money. Doctors are paid about 30% of all proceeds for chemo treatments. The average cost of chemo is $100,000 per patient, which means your doctor gets about $30,000 for each patient that he convinces to undergo this treatment, which, when simply raising your body's frequency and reconnecting with recommending vitamin D and a good diet, would actually work. My friend Pat dodged the chemo bullet, which is why I could help her more. Over the course of a year, Pat's cancer shrank to the point of being a speck, and she was told by her doctor that he could do a minor surgery and remove it if she wanted to. She told him no. Of course, if he had removed what was left of her cancer, he would have gotten the credit for healing her too. Since Pat wouldn't opt for surgery, her doctor decided to have her go to a cancer treatment center in Salt Lake City, Utah, and have further x-rays and a full evaluation done by the experts in cancer that were there. After Pat's evaluation in Salt Lake City, her doctor couldn't get the cancer experts to forward their findings to him or Pat. It took weeks of going between these doctors to get her evaluation and medical records forwarded to her doctor. I asked Pat to get copies of these medical records so I could see them. She was refused any copies of her own medical records. The fix is in. This information could not be allowed out there where the public could see how easily you could heal cancer and prevent cancer. Now, what were these doctors going to do about Pat getting over terminal cancer by using frequency? Their livelihoods were on the line. Towards the end of the time that I was helping Pat with her cancer, the pandemic came along. This COVID hoax was obvious to me, as were the intentions behind it, which was to perform the slave mask ritual followed by the self-sacrifice ritual with the COVID shot. I explained the whole thing was a scam to Pat, but she decided to listen to the doctor that sent her home to die instead. She took the Pfizer shot and didn't tell me. What she told me sometime after taking this shot was that her cancer had returned, and it was worse than before. I had to ask her what she had done to cause her cancer to come back for her to tell me that she took the shot. Of course, I was angry with Pat, and I explained to her that what was in that shot increased her chances of getting her cancer back by about 30-fold. At this point, I had to walk away because I didn't want to watch her die, and there was nothing further that I could do to help her. I had tried to tell her, and she wouldn't listen. She listened to the one that sent her home to die instead. See my website, kimpaddock.com, for the research that I began in 2021 on what was in the COVID shot. Caution, graphic content. I'll provide the link below. At any rate, the doctors wouldn't allow a terminal patient to get healed by any easy, natural means. Raise your body's frequency and heal yourself. The house of cards would come tumbling down with this one card. An entire billions of dollars a year corporate industry that surrounds cancer would topple, and the truth about cancer would infuriate the people. It's all about the money. These doctors and big pharma don't get rich on getting people well. I found out later that Pat had convinced her son to take the COVID shot as well. He died 3 months later of a heart attack, which is a common side effect of these shots. I've been asked about the med beds that can heal cancer and other diseases with targeted high frequencies. We've been told that this technology will soon be available. The problem that I see with the med beds is that they will heal the disease, but will not raise your body's overall frequency in a sustainable way so that you can avoid getting sick in the first place. Med beds will also not help people whose frequency drops too low, as was the case with the terminal cancer patients that I tried to heal. At a certain point, there is nothing that will help these people, including my high-frequency products. It's frustrating to watch people die of cancer when nobody should have it in the first place. People are so brainwashed by pharmakeia that many of them don't listen to me about the frequency healing, which Big Pharma knows about. They keep us sick while taking everything that is ours, including our lives. Click on the link below for more information about how the shots increase cancer deaths. Thank you for your support. By buying my products, I can research more about frequency healing for such illnesses as autism and cancer. I'm working with low-functioning autism right now and high frequencies, and I'm making progress in that area. God bless you, and thank you all. Thank you to everybody who has purchased my products and allowed me to go on with my research. It's very important.